Election on behalf of the defendant, David Callaway. Your Honor, I know this is a adjourned date for sentencing from a former date where the other two defendants were sentenced. The defendant, David Callaway, nonetheless asked for another 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. His wife still is suffering from some difficulties. I know a letter was sent to you concerning that. She is here. There she is. She's with her crutches. The defendant is a family man. He cares for the family. He's the center of the family, if you will. He doesn't know what's going to happen to him. He's prepared to be incarcerated, but all he asks for is a couple more weeks to get everything together. And if you would like to hear from him about that, Judge, he'd be more than happy to personally ask for those 2 weeks.
Sure. There was a letter that was faxed over to you. My wife just had surgery not long ago, and right now she's still on crutches. And really, I'm the caretaker of her and my handicapped son, which is 25 years old. Mentally retarded, does nothing on his own. And all I was asking for is a couple weeks at least until she can get off these crutches. And then I have to do what I have to do. I'm not running anywhere.
Well, I originally postponed it for the same reason that it's being requested today, and I envisioned at the time that I did that was sufficient time to accomplish what Mr. Callaway is discussing today. I want to put this matter to rest. I think that perhaps friends or family are going to have to step up in this situation and give Mrs. Callaway a hand. I'm going to deny the request for postponement. We're going to go forward. Mr. Callaway, is there anyone you wish to speak on your behalf?
Yes, this window is.
Ma'am?
First, I want to say that we have a death in our family, and I'm on bereavement day today, so I wanted to know that after this, I'm on my way to North Jersey. But in light of knowing that my brother was going to be sentenced there, I postponed it a little. And what I want to say is that I am totally, no disrespect to the court, but I am totally disenfranchised with the entire process of this court and how things were conducted. Everything here that they just said this morning, it's all circumstantial evidence on my brother David. David had no part in it. As a matter of fact, I was here when Craig got sentenced. The very last thing Craig Callaway said was, David Callaway had no part in it. Of course, I'm going to give Callaway, so no one will take his word for anything, and they're not taking David's as well. But my entire family is totally disenchanted with the entire Atlanta County criminal court system. It seems like there's a selective prosecution going on, which is criminal. It's criminal for the things that are going on in this courtroom, in this county. And as long as I have breath in my body, I will contest it. I will contest it, and I will continue to protest what's going on here with my family. They've been selectively prosecuted, as I feel they've been persecuted, and I've had enough of it. And whatever you decide to do with David, we're willing to deal with it. And we will support his wife.
Address the court.
I just wanted to say when the other two defendants were sentenced, I was also here, and I saw Mr. Robinson talking about how the case has impacted his life since, and how it has affected him. But this case has affected me as well. And I walk down the street, people reporting me, that's the guy who was involved in the sex tape scam. I had nothing to do with the sex tape scam. It's embarrassing. It really is. And I have to explain to my children why I have to leave them behind some nonsense that I had nothing to do with. But I tell them the real truth, what's going on. I'm just, your father got caught up in the white man's racist judicial system. And that's just exactly what it is. say, Your Honor.
Prosecutor?
When I said that this case is about racism, it didn't just come from me. It come from my attorney also. He told me the same thing. That's the way he sees it. But I told him not to tell me. He needs to tell it to you and the prosecutor. But he doesn't want to do it. I don't know why.
Well, no. Well, Judge, I saw things in this case that I'd never seen before, frankly. The issues that are going to be raised will be raised on appeal and are not really a moment at this time.
What were the things you saw, Mr. Leshin?
Well, Judge, it was just, Judge, it was just an attitude, if you will, and I don't really want to say it. I guess I'd have to be in the shoes of a black man to really feel what his feelings are. He related some things to me about the jury selection, about how he wanted to call
Numerous witnesses.
Including Craig, and apparently we never really got them in here. It's just that he felt that he was not getting a fair trial. Judge, again, I'm getting this mostly from him, and I can't put my finger on it. I'm not in his
And the
shoes.
treatment of Schultz.
Oh,
When he never had to appear in court, we had to be in front of the cameras. Schultz was gold. Why? Only thing I can see is because he's white.
Mr. Callaway, your remarks are directed directly at this court. Let me tell you something. Don't flatter yourself thinking that I, for 1 minute, have any axe to grind against you or anybody in this case, regardless of race, color, or creed. If I make myself clear, don't flatter yourself. I couldn't care less about anybody in this case but to do what my job is to do. I presided over the trial. I gave everybody as fair a shot as I could. And yes, I stood up and stopped delay tactics designed to play this case out to racism. And everything was ignored in terms of the facts. But when all else fails, play the race card. And you know, you don't do your race any justice by bringing out the race card every darn time you think that you can use it to your benefit. Use it when it's supposed to apply. It does not apply in this case. The proofs were clear, convincing, substantial. In other words, those proofs that result in your standing here today, not racism, regardless of Mr. Schultz. I've given my statement about Mr. Schultz. He's a man with no record. You can't say the same, nor can any other defendant in this case say the same. And we've talked about the plea bargains you were offered. They were generous. The state bent over backwards trying to avoid this playing out as it did. And you stand here today and claim you're a victim of racism? This defendant was convicted by a jury of conspiracy to commit criminal coercion. Criminal coercion, or conspiracy to commit criminal coercion and the coercion itself. Conspiracy to film or record the intimate parts of another, and disclosure of the video recording of the intimate parts of another. The defendant, together with his co-defendants, conspired to and carried out a scheme to coerce Atlantic City Councilman Eugene Robinson to resign his city council seat. According to the state's proofs, the motive was the political payback for the councilman's withdrawal of his allegiance for fellow councilman Craig Callaway after his conviction and sentence for a federal offense.